The meeting room of the Galactic Council was large and bright. Hundreds of alien beings from different worlds sat in curved rows. They talked in low voices while they waited for the session to begin. Ambassador Krelzak walked slowly to the center of the room. He had 4 arms and his skin was a deep purple color. His species, the Vorn, were known for their caution and wisdom. Today, he felt nervous as he prepared to speak. Members of the Galactic Council, he began. His voice translator changed his clicks and whistles into words everyone could understand. I come to you with an important warning. The room grew quieter as the different aliens turned to listen. Some looked interested, others seemed bored. I must speak about the species called humans, Krelzak continued. They come from a planet called Earth in the Sol system. High Chancellor Zorix, the head of the council, sighed loudly. He was tall with shimmering blue skin and no hair. Ambassador Krelzak, we have heard about these humans before. They are a young species with simple technology. They have barely left their own solar system. Yes, Chancellor. But their technology is growing faster than any species we have seen before, Krelzak said. However, that is not why I am here today. I want to warn you about their nature. From a balcony above, Commander Olivia Martinez watched quietly. She was one of the few humans allowed in the council chambers. Earth had only recently joined the galactic community, and humans were still seen as newcomers. Most aliens treated them like curious children rather than equals. Olivia was tall with dark hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her blue uniform showed her rank in Earth's space fleet. She listened carefully as Krelzak spoke about her species. The Vorn have studied Earth's history, the ambassador continued. Humans fight differently than any other species we know. When the Bendari fought the Rigelians, they stopped when they ran out of resources. When the Cygnus Collective battled the Urdani, they ended their war when they got what they wanted. Krelzak paused and looked around the room. All 4 of his eyes blinked slowly. But humans, when humans fight, they do not stop until they completely defeat their enemy. They remember wrongs done to them for many generations. Their history shows wars where children and grandchildren continued fighting battles their ancestors started. He raised 2 of his arms for emphasis. Humans have a saying, don't get mad, get even. I beg this council to listen to my warning. Do not assault the humans. They will hunt you forever. Laughter spread through the room. Many of the aliens found his warning silly. Some made jokes to each other in their own languages. Chancellor Zorix smiled in a way that showed he thought Krelzak was overreacting. Thank you for your colorful warning, Ambassador. The Council hears your concerns, but we have more important matters to discuss. The humans are a minor issue at most. The Council moved on to talk about trade problems between 2 wealthy star systems. Olivia Martinez slipped out of the balcony quietly. She needed to send a message to Earth Command right away. The way the Council dismissed Krelzak's warning confirmed what she feared. These aliens did not understand humans at all. She walked quickly down a long hallway with glowing walls. Her boots made soft sounds on the polished floor. She thought about what she would tell her superiors. The Council's attitude was dangerous, not just for the aliens but for humans too. If someone decided to test whether Krelzak was right about humans, many people could die. In another room not far from the main council chamber, General Drax of the Scourge Dominion met with his officers. The Scourge were reptilian aliens with tough, scaled skin and sharp teeth. They had joined the Galactic Council recently, but they had their own plans. Drax was larger than the others, with deep red scales and black markings across his face. His yellow eyes narrowed as he looked at the star map in front of him. The human colonies are here, here, and here, he said, pointing to small dots at the edge of the map. They are far from their homeworld and have few defenses. His second-in-command, Captain Vex, nodded. Our scouts confirm they have only basic weapons. Their ships are slow and their shields are weak. The Council will not interfere, Drax said. They see humans as primitive and unimportant. We can take the human colonies quickly. Their resources will fuel our ships and their people will serve the Dominion. What about the Vorn ambassador's warning? Asked another officer. Drax laughed, showing his sharp teeth. The Vorn are always afraid, always cautious. They see danger everywhere. These humans are nothing. They will break easily. He touched the map, and the star systems with human colonies glowed red. We will start with this one. It is called New Haven, a small farming colony with only 15,000 humans. When do we attack? Vex asked. 3 days from now, Drax answered. Prepare the fleet. The humans will not know what hit them. Back in her small room at the Earth Embassy, Olivia Martinez finished sending her encrypted message to Earth Command. She looked out the window at the beautiful alien city that surrounded the council headquarters. Tall buildings with strange shapes reflected the light from the system's 2 suns. Ships of different sizes moved through the sky lanes above. Olivia felt a sense of dread. She had served in Earth's military for 15 years. She had fought in the Mars Rebellion and the asteroid belt conflicts. She knew how humans responded to attacks. If any species made the mistake of assaulting a human colony, the response would be swift and terrible. I hope they listen to Krelzak, she whispered to herself, for everyone's sake. But deep down she knew the Council's arrogance would lead to trouble. They saw humans as primitive because Earth had only recently developed faster than light. Travel. They didn't understand that humans had been fighting each other for thousands of years. War was something humans understood all too well. Her computer beeped with a response from Earth Command. The message was short. Continue observation. Fleet movements detected near Sector 7. Maintain diplomatic channels. Prepare for possible evacuation. Sector 7 was where New Haven Colony was located. Olivia's heart beat faster. Something was happening already. She needed to find Ambassador Krelzak and learn what he knew. As she left her room, alarms began to sound throughout the embassy. The evacuation had begun sooner than expected. The Galactic Council was about to learn if Krelzak's warning was right, and Olivia Martinez knew it was. Humans would indeed hunt their enemies forever. The aliens had no idea what they were about to unleash. The attack on New Haven Colony began in the early morning hours. Most of the human settlers were still asleep when the Scourge ships appeared in the sky. They were large and dark, with sharp edges that reminded some of the ancient sharks from Earth's oceans. Alan Carter woke to the sound of explosions. His house shook and dust fell from the ceiling. He jumped out of bed and ran to the window. The sky glowed orange from fires in the distance. Diane, wake up, he called to his wife. We need to move. Diane sat up quickly. She had been a nurse before they moved to New Haven. She knew how to stay calm in emergencies. What's happening? We're under attack, Alan said. He was pulling on his clothes. Get Peter, we need to reach the shelter. Alan had served in Earth's defense forces for 10 years before becoming a farmer on New Haven. His training kicked in now. He quickly gathered emergency supplies while Diane woke their 10-year-old son. Outside, they could hear screaming. Strange. Weapons made high-pitched sounds followed by crashes and more explosions. Through the window, Alan saw his neighbors running from their homes. Some were caught in bright blue beams of light. They froze in place, then disappeared. They're taking people, he said quietly. Who is? Diane asked. She held Peter close to her side. The boy was scared but didn't cry. I don't know. Not pirates. This is too organized. Alan checked the small gun he kept locked in a box under their bed. It wouldn't do much against military weapons, but it was better than nothing. The colony shelter will be the first place they check, he decided. We need to go to the hydroponics facility instead. The underground levels have air filtration and water. We can hide there. They slipped out the back door of their house. The family stayed low, moving from one building to another, hiding whenever they heard the heavy footsteps of the invaders. Alan got his first clear look at the aliens when a patrol marched past their hiding spot behind the community center. They were tall and reptilian, with scales that shifted colors to match their surroundings. They wore armor that enhanced their already strong bodies. Their weapons were advanced, much more powerful than anything the colony had for defense. Scourge, Dominion, Alan whispered. He had seen briefings about them during his military service. The Scourge were new members of the Galactic Council, but not much was known about them except that they were expanding their territory rapidly. The Carter family reached the hydroponics facility after an hour of careful movement through the burning colony. Inside, they found others hiding, 10 adults and 2 children. Everyone looked terrified. "The main settlement is lost," said Carlos, one of the facility workers. "They hit our communications array first. We couldn't get a warning out." Alan nodded. "I activated my emergency beacon. It sends a signal on military frequencies. It might take days to reach Earth, though." "What do they want?" asked Maria, who taught at the colony school. "Why attack us?" "Resources, probably," Alan answered. "Maybe slaves. The Scourge are known for both." From their hiding place deep in the hydroponics facility, they could feel the vibrations as the aliens landed more ships. Through small ventilation shafts, they sometimes caught glimpses of what was happening outside. The Scourge were methodical. They searched every building. They took some people away in transport ships. Others were put to work immediately, gathering the colony's food stores and mining equipment. "We need to record everything," Alan told the others. "When help comes, Earth will need to know exactly what happened here." He activated his neural implant, a military-grade device that could record everything he saw and heard. Most civilians didn't have such advanced technology, but Alan had kept his from his service days. For 3 days, they remained hidden. The group rationed the water and food they had access to in the facility. They took turns watching through the vents. Alan documented everything: the faces of Scourge commanders, the layout of their ships, the way they organized their troops. On the 3rd day, their luck ran out. A Scourge patrol detected unusual power usage from the hydroponic systems that kept the hidden humans alive. "They're coming," Alan warned the others. "Everyone needs to use the maintenance tunnels. They lead to the forest edge. I'll hold them off as long as I can." "Alan, no," Diane argued. "Come with us." He kissed her quickly. "I need to buy you time, and I need to get closer to send a complete data package through my implant. The more we can tell Earth about these attackers, the better chance we have of stopping them." Before she could argue further, they heard the main doors of the facility burst open. Heavy footsteps echoed through the metal corridors. "Go now," Alan insisted. "Find a place to hide until help comes. Tell them everything." With tears in her eyes, Diane led Peter and the others to the maintenance tunnel entrance. Alan made sure they were safely away before he moved to confront the invaders. He surprised the first patrol, using his knowledge of the facility to ambush them. His small weapon was no match for their armor, but he aimed for weak spots at the joints. 4 Scourge soldiers fell before a stun blast hit Alan from behind. When he regained consciousness, he was being dragged before a Scourge commander. The boy alien was larger than the others, with red and black scales and cold yellow eyes. "This one fought well," said a soldier. "Killed 4 of our scouts before we subdued him." The commander studied Alan with interest. "You are not like the others, who ran or surrendered. You are a warrior." Alan's translator implant converted the hissing speech into English. His neural implant continued recording everything. "What is your name, human warrior?" the commander asked. "Lieutenant Alan Carter, Earth Defense Force, retired," Alan answered defiantly. "And you are making the biggest mistake of your life." The commander laughed, a dry sound like scales rubbing together. "I am General Drax of the Scourge Dominion. Your colony is now our property. Your people will serve us or die." "Earth will respond," Alan warned. "You have no idea what you've started." "Your Earth is far away," Drax replied. "By the time they learn of this attack, we will have taken many more of your colonies. The Galactic Council will not interfere. They consider humans too primitive to protect." Alan smiled despite the pain of his injuries. "There was a Vorn ambassador who tried to warn the Council about humans. You should have listened to him." "The Vorn are cowards," Drax dismissed. "Always afraid." "No," Alan said. "They're just wise enough to know what happens when you attack humans. We don't fight like other species. We don't stop until we win, no matter how long it takes." Drax leaned closer. "Brave words from a defeated enemy." "I'm not defeated," Alan replied. "And neither is humanity. You just started a war you cannot win." Humans will hunt you across the galaxy. We will find you. All of you. His neural implant finished its transmission, sending everything he had seen to a hidden relay that would carry the data to Earth. Soon, his people would know exactly who had attacked them and why. And then the hunt would begin. 6 days after the attack on New Haven, Alan Carter's neural implant data reached Earth. The images and information he had collected traveled across space through hidden military relays. When they arrived, they caused an immediate uproar. President Gregory Walsh called an emergency meeting in the large underground command center beneath the government buildings. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials filled the room. The mood was grim as they watched the recordings from Alan's implant. "This is what happened at New Haven Colony," explained Admiral Paula Reed. She was the head of Earth's Defense Forces. Her uniform was crisp, but her eyes showed she hadn't slept much. "The same thing has happened at 3 other colonies. Over 15,000 people are dead. Many more have been taken prisoner." The room was silent as they watched the Scourge soldiers rounding up human colonists. They saw the aliens destroying homes and stealing resources. Most disturbing was the footage of General Drax explaining how the Galactic Council would not help the humans. President Walsh stood up. He was a tall man with gray hair and a serious face. "What are our options?" Admiral Reed touched a screen, and a map of nearby space appeared. "The 5th Fleet is closest to the attack sites. They can reach New Haven in 3 days. We've already sent them the order to move." "Do we know who these Scourge are?" asked Defense Secretary Victor Chen. "We have some information," said Admiral Reed. "The Vorn have been helpful. Ambassador Krelzak warned the Council this might happen. No one listened." "How many ships do we have ready?" the President asked. 42 warships can deploy within a week," Admiral Reed answered. "We can have another 60 ready in a month if we convert civilian vessels." "Do it," said President Walsh without hesitation. "Call up all military reserves. Convert the shipyards to military production. I want every weapon we have ready." He turned to the Secretary of Communications. "I need to address the people tonight." That evening, every screen on Earth and in the human colonies showed the President's face. He looked directly into the camera as he spoke. "My fellow citizens," he began. "6 days ago, an alien force known as the Scourge Dominion attacked our colony on New Haven. Since then, 3 more colonies have been attacked." He paused and took a breath. "I will not hide the truth from you. Many of our people have died. Many more have been taken prisoner. This was an unprovoked attack on peaceful settlements." The President's voice grew stronger. "As of this moment, Earth and all human territories are at war with the Scourge Dominion. I have ordered our fleet to respond with full force. We will rescue our people. We will defend our colonies. And we will make absolutely certain that no one ever attacks humanity again." Across Earth and the colonies, people watched in shock. Some cried for lost family members. Others felt anger growing inside them. Within hours of the President's speech, military recruitment centers were filled with volunteers. In orbit around Earth, shipyards that had been building transport vessels and research ships quickly changed to making warships. Scientists who had been developing medical technology now worked on weapon systems. Earth was transforming for war at an incredible speed. On the bridge of the EDF Relentless, Captain Samantha Rodriguez studied the tactical display. Her ship would lead the first attack against the Scourge. She had spent the last 2 days learning everything she could about the enemy. "The Vorn data is helpful," said her second-in-command, John Baker. He pointed to the display. "The Scourge ships have strong frontal shields but weaker protection on the sides and rear. Their weapons are powerful but slow to recharge." Samantha nodded. "What about our new weapons?" "The engineers have modified our missiles based on the Vorn data," John explained. "They should penetrate the Scourge shields now." "Good," Samantha said. "Status of the fleet?" "All 20 ships report ready, Captain." Samantha looked at the star map. The Scourge had established a base in the Procyon system. They were using it to launch attacks on human colonies. That would be the first target. "Send the order," she said. "We jump to Procyon in 1 hour." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chambers, Ambassador Krelzak addressed the assembled aliens again. This time there was no laughter when he spoke about humans. "I warned you," he said simply. "The humans do not fight like other species. Now you will see what happens when they are provoked." High Chancellor Zorix looked uncomfortable. "The Council did not authorize the Scourge attacks. We have condemned their actions." "But you did nothing to stop them," Krelzak replied. "And now it is too late. The humans will not rest until they have destroyed those who attacked them." "Surely they can be reasoned with," said another council member. "We could offer to mediate a peace." Krelzak's translator conveyed a sound that might have been a sad laugh. "You still do not understand. For humans, this is not about politics or resources. This is about justice. They will not stop until they have it." At that moment, in the Procyon system, the human fleet emerged from jump space. The Scourge ships were caught by surprise. They had not expected such a quick response, and certainly not such a coordinated attack. Captain Rodriguez gave her orders, calmly. "Target their command ship first, then the weapon platforms. Launch missiles on my mark." The new human missiles streaked toward the Scourge ships. They passed through the alien shields as if they weren't there. Explosions bloomed in the darkness of space. The battle was short but fierce. The human ships moved in formations the Scourge had never seen before. They attacked from multiple angles, targeting weaknesses that the Scourge didn't know they had. When it was over. The Scourge fleet at Procyon was destroyed. The human ships had suffered damage, but only 2 were seriously hurt. None were destroyed. Captain Rodriguez opened a communication channel to the Scourge base on the small moon they had been using. "This is Captain Samantha Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Fleet," she said. Her voice was cold and controlled. "Your ships are destroyed, your supply lines are cut. You have one chance to surrender." The Scourge commander who appeared on the screen looked shocked. "How did you defeat our fleet so quickly? How did you know our shield frequencies?" "We had help," Samantha replied, "and we learned fast. Surrender, now. The Dominion will send more ships," the Scourge commander warned. "This is only one small fleet." Samantha's expression didn't change. "Then we'll destroy those ships too, and the ones after that, however long it takes. You should have listened to the Vorn ambassador." Back on Earth, President Walsh received the news of the victory at Procyon. It was the first step, but only the beginning of what would be a long campaign. "The Scourge need to understand something," he told his advisors. "They didn't just attack some colonies, they attacked humanity, and we will hunt them across the stars until justice is done." 1 year passed since the first attack on New Haven Colony. The war between humans and the Scourge Dominion spread across many star systems. What started as simple revenge had become something bigger. Humans were no longer just defending their colonies. They were hunting the Scourge wherever they could find them. Admiral Ryan Nichols stood on the bridge of the EDF Indomitable, Earth's newest and most powerful warship. Through the large viewing window, he watched as his fleet moved into position around a rocky planet called Caris 4. Intelligence reports said that high-ranking Scourge leaders were hiding there. "Status report," Admiral Nichols said to his crew. Lieutenant Kelly Warren, his communications officer, answered quickly. "All ships are in position, Admiral. Ground teams are ready to deploy." Ryan nodded. He was a serious man with short gray hair and a face marked by old scars. He had fought in the first battles of the war and had seen many friends die. Now he led the largest fleet Earth had ever built. "Any word from Major Chang's team?" he asked. "They landed on the planet 6 hours ago," Kelly replied. "They've located the Scourge base and are moving into position." Ryan turned to the tactical display. Colored dots showed the positions of human ships, ground forces, and known Scourge locations. "Tell all ships to be ready. Once Major Chang's team completes their mission, the Scourge will try to escape. I want every exit route covered." Down on the planet's surface, Major Lisa Chang led her team through thick jungle. Lisa was one of Earth's best special operations commanders. She and her 20 soldiers had trained specifically to capture high-value Scourge targets. They moved silently, using advanced camouflage suits that hid them from Scourge sensors. Their weapons were designed to disable rather than kill. Their mission was to capture, not destroy. There it is, Lisa whispered, pointing through the trees. A small building sat in a clearing. It looked simple, but underground sensors showed a large complex beneath it. That's where War Minister Vexkar is hiding. Vexkar was one of the Scourge leaders who had planned the original attacks on human colonies. Finding him had taken months of careful intelligence work. Team 1, take the north entrance, Lisa ordered through her comm system. Team 2, with me on the main door. Remember, we need Vexkar alive. The soldiers moved into position. They had done this many times before. In the past year, human special forces had captured dozens of Scourge commanders and political leaders. On my mark, Lisa said. 3, 2, 1, go. The teams moved with perfect coordination. Stun grenades disabled the outer guards. Specialized cutting tools opened locked doors. Within minutes, they were inside the underground complex. The Scourge soldiers inside fought back fiercely, but they were surprised and outnumbered. One by one, they fell to the human team's stun weapons. In the lowest level of the complex, Lisa's team found War Minister Vexkar. The Scourge leader was tall even for his species, with distinctive yellow and black scales. He tried to destroy his computer systems as the humans entered, but he was too late. War Minister Vexkar, Lisa said as her soldiers surrounded him. By authority of the Earth Defense Force, you are under arrest for war crimes against human colonies. The Scourge leader hissed in anger, but he did not resist. His translator converted his speech to English. You humans are persistent. No other species would have tracked me across 5 sectors. No other species was attacked by you, Lisa replied. She signaled to her team to secure the prisoner and gather all data from the Scourge computers. As they prepared to leave, Lisa stood face to face with Vexkar. I have a question, she said. Why did you attack our colonies? We had done nothing to you. Vexkar's yellow eyes studied her. You were weak, isolated. Your resources were valuable. The council would not interfere. It was logical. And now? Lisa asked. Now we understand what Ambassador Krelzak tried to warn us about, Vexkar admitted. But it is too late. In orbit above the planet, Admiral Nichols received the news that Major Chang's team had captured Vexkar and were returning to the ships. Excellent work, he told Kelly. Send word to Earth Command. Another architect of the attacks has been brought to justice. Kelly nodded, but her expression was troubled. Sir, may I ask a question? Go ahead, Lieutenant. We've captured most of the Scourge leadership now. We've destroyed their military bases. Their government is asking for peace talks. When does this end? Ryan looked out at the stars for a long moment before answering. It ends when we're sure this can never happen again. Not just with the Scourge, but with any species that might think humans are easy targets. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Walsh met with Ambassador Krelzak in the Oval Office. The room was simple but elegant, with Earth artifacts and art on display. The Galactic Council has officially condemned the Scourge Dominion, Krelzak reported. They have revoked their membership and imposed sanctions. President Walsh smiled without humor. A bit late, wouldn't you say? It's been a year since their attacks. Yes, the Vorn ambassador agreed. The Council moves slowly. They still do not fully understand humans. And do you understand us, Ambassador? Walsh asked. Krelzak's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. I understand that you fight differently than other species. You pursue your enemies until they are completely defeated. But I admit, I did not expect the scale and speed of your response. In 1 year, you have built a fleet that rivals the ancient races. You have developed weapons that can defeat Scourge defenses. You have united your people in a way few species can achieve. We had motivation, the President said simply. The Council fears you now, Krelzak admitted. They see what happens when humans are provoked. Good, Walsh replied. Fear can be the beginning of respect. Across human space, the war effort continued. Shipyards produced new vessels. Science labs developed better weapons and defenses. Intelligence teams tracked down every Scourge leader who had been involved in the attacks on human colonies. On New Haven, where it all began, reconstruction was underway. Many of the original colonists had been rescued in the first months of the war. Others had escaped during the initial attack. Among them were Diane Carter and her son Peter. They stood at a memorial that listed the names of those who had died, including Alan Carter. His sacrifice had helped save many lives, and his neural implant data had given Earth crucial information about the enemy. "Do you think it will ever be over?" Peter asked his mother. He was 11 now, and had seen more in the past year than most people see in a lifetime. Diane looked up at the sky, where human ships patrolled to ensure their safety. "The fighting will end someday," she said, "but what we learned from this will stay with us forever." What she didn't say was that the galaxy had changed. Humanity had emerged from this war as a power that other species now treated with caution and respect. The warning that had been ignored, "Do not assault the humans. They will hunt you forever," was now the most famous phrase in galactic diplomacy. 5 years after the first attack on New Haven, representatives from across the galaxy gathered on Earth. The occasion was historic, the signing of the Galactic Concord. This new agreement would replace the failed Galactic Council system with something stronger and fairer. The meeting place was symbolic, a grand hall built in the rebuilt colony of New Haven. What was once a simple farming settlement had grown into a thriving city. A memorial in the central plaza listed the names of those lost in the initial attack. People from 37 different alien species filled the hall. They had scales, fur, tentacles, and many different body shapes. They spoke through translators that allowed everyone to understand each other. Despite their differences, they all shared one thing: respect for the humans who had called this meeting. President Gregory Walsh stood at the front of the hall. In 5 years of war, his hair had turned completely white, and lines marked his face. But his eyes were clear and determined as he addressed the crowd. "Today marks a new chapter in the history of our galaxy," he began. "The Dominion War taught us all a difficult lesson. Peace requires more than just words. It requires action, justice, and sometimes, regrettably, it requires strength." In the audience, Ambassador Krelzak sat with his Vorn delegation. His purple skin had darkened with age, and 2 of his forearms rested in the ceremonial position of a respected elder. Next to him sat representatives from species that had once laughed at his warnings about humans. "Humanity did not want this war, President," Walsh continued. "We were a peaceful people exploring the stars when we were attacked without provocation. We fought back not just to protect ourselves, but to ensure such attacks would never happen again." He gestured to the delegates from the reformed Scourge Dominion. Their new government had overthrown the war leaders and sought peace 2 years ago. "Even with those who once were our enemies, we now seek to build a lasting peace, not based on fear, but on mutual respect and cooperation." The terms of the new Galactic Concord were unlike anything seen before in the galaxy. The Scourge Dominion would pay to help rebuild the human colonies they had attacked. Their military would be monitored for 100 years. Most importantly, all signing members agreed to defend each other if attacked. No longer would the galaxy stand by while one species attacked another. After the formal signing ceremony, Amanda Holloway approached Ambassador Krelzak. Amanda was the widow of Admiral Frank Holloway, who had died leading the liberation of Proxima Colony in the 2nd year of the war. "Ambassador," she said, extending her hand in greeting. "My husband told me about your warnings before the war began. He said if they had listened to you, many lives might have been saved." The Vorn took her hand gently in one of his forearms. His translator conveyed his response. "Your species continues to surprise the galaxy, Amanda Holloway. You fought with a determination that frightened even your allies. Yet now in victory you offer friendship rather than continued punishment. That's the human way too," Amanda replied. "We remember wrongs done to us, but we also believe in second chances. The Concord isn't about punishing the defeated. It's about building something better for the future." Across the plaza, Alan Carter's son Peter stood with his mother Diane at the memorial wall. Peter was 15 now, tall and serious like his father had been. He wore a cadet uniform from the Earth Defense Academy, where he was training to become an officer. "Do you think Dad would be proud of what we've accomplished?" Peter asked, touching his father's name on the wall. Diane smiled sadly. "Very proud. He didn't fight because he hated the Scourge. He fought to protect what he loved. What we're building now, a galaxy where different species protect each other, that's what he would have wanted." Near the refreshment tables, Captain Samantha Rodriguez, now Admiral Rodriguez, spoke with a young Scourge diplomat. 5 years ago, she had led the first counterattack against the Scourge. Now she commanded Earth's largest fleet, not for war, but for peacekeeping. "It's still strange," the young Scourge said, "to talk with humans as allies rather than enemies." Samantha nodded. "The best enemies can become the strongest allies once they understand each other." "My teachers told me your species never forgets an enemy," the Scourge diplomat said. "We don't," Samantha confirmed. "But we also don't forget those who work for peace. Your new government took brave steps to end the war. That too we will remember." In orbit above New Haven, hundreds of ships from the signatory species arranged themselves in formation, a display of unity and strength. Human vessels flew alongside ships from former enemies and allies alike. Among them were the distinctive, spiral-shaped cruisers of the Vorn. On the bridge of the EDF Resolute, Admiral Ryan Nichols gave the order to activate the new defensive network. Across human space and beyond, automated beacons and monitoring stations powered up. They would detect and respond to threats against any Concord member. "Operation Eternal Vigilance is now active," Ryan announced to all ships in the formation. The message was clear. An attack on one was an attack on all. Back in the Grand Hall, as the ceremonies concluded, President Walsh met privately with the new High Chancellor of the Reformed Galactic Council, a wise old being from the Altarian species. "Do you believe this peace will last?" the Chancellor asked. Walsh looked out the window at the ships in formation above. "I believe it has a better chance than any peace before it. Now everyone understands the cost of war. And if it is broken? If some new power threatens the Concord?" The President's expression grew serious. "Then they will face not just humanity but all of us together. That's the lesson of the past 5 years. Divided, we are vulnerable. United, we are unbeatable." That evening, as the delegates departed for the reception, Ambassador Krelzak stood alone on a balcony overlooking the city of New Haven. The lights below reminded him of stars in the night sky. A human aide approached him. "The reception is beginning, Ambassador. Will you join us?" Krelzak turned, all 4 of his eyes blinking in the pattern that indicated deep thought. "Yes, I will come. I was just reflecting on how much has changed. 5 years ago I warned the Council about humans. I told them not to assault your species because you would hunt them forever." "You were right," the aide acknowledged. "Only partly right," Krelzak corrected. "You hunted your enemies, yes. But when you caught them, you offered peace. That part I did not predict." As night fell on New Haven, the message that had been sent across the galaxy was clear. Humans would defend themselves with unexpected strength and determination. They would indeed hunt their enemies across the stars. But they would also build peace when possible, and they would never forget either their friends or their foes. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Do not assault the humans. They will hunt you forever. But befriend them and you gain allies who are just as determined in peace as they are in war.